Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? What is a sensor? I continue to be held against my will in the state of Ohio in the United States of America. I am being persecuted for scientific discovery. I am seeking asylum outside of the United States immediately. I'm trying to leave this country. I'm trying to leave this jurisdiction. You guys know where I live. You know the relevant political figures. Again, I'm just trying to live a life with some quality of life, and I currently have none, and I cannot seem to express that with any sort of immediacy or anyone to care. And so, just doing it for the historical record to my estate, literally press every charge, take every bit of property, and just do everything you can to record how disgusting these people truly are. Again, any fraud, or again, obviously any slander, again, I cannot speak about the crimes being committed against me because literally people are too pathetic to hear it. So again, every case, every charge, every person, again, continuing to emphasize that I am being held against my will. And so if a little bit of my property was released to me, I could just get on a plane, leave this country, and just, hey, go on my lovely way. But again, I continue to be held against my will. It is kidnapping, and it is abandonment, and also in like a military type of context. And so just moving along, nobody cares. My life has never had any value to literally anybody. But we continue on with our derivation to show the direct integration of the syllability of sensorality by stabilizing a definition. Here is how that syllability is contained and used uniquely within science, within ontology. And proving it by forcing kind of what I call logical out of bounds. But hey, this is a word. We have censor with an S, we have censorship with a C, and here is why. And that is what we are articulating completely. So first, the two things that I have at the front of my mind for the overall just structure of the proof and the derivation is the radial symmetry of words building. Again, we're getting our conceptualization in the right order, and then the linguistics associated to that will be trivial. But overall, we still have some sort of basis, and then some sort of building, right? Adding letters to different words to expand meaning, to differentiate. And it seems to be, again, some sort of center point, and then things build radially away from the center, probably a vowel. Again, we've already proven this overall analytical structure, which I do not remember because we're doing a new derivation, and we have to resolve the conceptualization of sensorality. Truly, once we wrote down speciality is special with an ITY, there was no remaining conceptualization from that derivation. This overall conceptual linguistic progress is unique. Right? You can't get yesterday back, and once you solve something completely and definitively. And so just emphasizing that, we still have this radial symmetry building out. I think it's from a vowel, but certainly we have some sort of centralization, a center point, and then prefix and suffix building away from some sort of centralization. Our fundamental identity, E and A, geometric inverses, our clear base, E, and then the difference between E and A is I. And we're explicitly showing this this consonants iterating. I think it's the consonants. There's still some overarching conjectures about what exactly we're doing, but we've already established the analytical process, and I'm just walking you through exactly where we're at with the derivation of sensorality. And so, in addition to the radial symmetry, the actual word ontology, right? People will say it's being, and then I explicitly say it's the way you talk about being, and because language is literal. Right? Everything is just a sound associated to meaning. And so when people say ontology is being, or don't you see how that's an immediate physical, linguistic, logical chronology wrong? You exist, therefore you can think. I think, therefore I am. No, you exist. And you formalize language and you understand the world through logic, but you're just existing. And the description is the logical structure, the language, the culture you're introduced to. And so when people say ontology is existence, no, existence is existence, and ontology is how you talk about existence. Another thing that was directly at the forefront of my mind, but again with the emphasis that language is literal. Right? I'm providing some explanation because I'm exhausting the logic. We could very literally just list the syllability and it's a complete proof. That's effectively what we did with speciality. I certainly added commentary and different jokes and analysis and explanation where it's needed. But language is literal. It directly speaks. All of the information is contained within the structure. And if you speak English, again, it's that resolution of why is science taught in English, or why is English the language of science? It's because it's this global refinement of language systems tending to optimal efficiency. And that or how we represent that, with letters is what we're finalizing, or what we've already finalized, and we're doing another axiomatic derivation with. And so we move along through our steps. Sensorality is scatterability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Matter scatters. Direct iteration. Again, poignant phrasing throughout physical ontology. Scattering angles, right? This interaction, this exchange of momentum. How does a system respond? How does a particle react when it gets hit by something? And we've associated the word scattering, right? Scattering is dispersal. Back to this dispense, disperse, ordered, dissemination, disordered, right? Just that dispense, disperse relationship. But scattering is dispersal. Sensorality is a scattering angle. Natural definition, direct iteration. Does scale scatter? What is scaling to selling? Emphasizing scale is a direct iteration of sale. What is scaling to repelling? Kind of conceptual natural opposites. Again, that's what we're overall doing, is demonstrating chirality, demonstrating natural opposition already present within language. How do we define sensorality? Literally, as we find its natural opposite, and then the syllability is self-contained. But if you scale a wall, your intuition is you're going up the wall, right? And if you repel a wall, you're going down the wall. Scaling, what is scaling to repelling? Is insulation resistance? Sensorality insulates. Sensorality is insulationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is institutionality to insulationality? Sensorality is insularity. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is protection to insulation? What is privacy to identity? Sensorality protects privacy. Sensorality protects identity. Direct iteration. Fundamental theorem of physics, insulation produces latency. Because again, I would say magnetic fields are still insulation, right? The pressure that I feel from sitting on the chair right now, the electron in the valence shell of my cheeks is not actually touching the valence shell electron of the chair. We just feel pressure, and that's the continuous pressure gradient verbiage of my paper. But again, because that's what I'm saying is, I would say magnetic fields, any sort of repulsion is evidence of insulation. Trying to provide some more clarity or insight. Again, the words contain all of the meaning, and you people can't see or feel the logical difference, but it's apparent. Point being is, I think everything is insulated, right? Everything has some sort of natural physical resistance to movement, right? You're in a gravitational field, which is really just a linguistic iteration of viscosity. There's resistance to your movement. You tend to slow down. There's other things around you. Insulation produces latency. What is latency to complacency? What is latency to potency? Direct iteration. Sensorality is potent latency. Sensorality is latent potency. Natural definition, direct iteration. Latent, latest. Again, latency is delay. Again, it's always the right words. That's the part you guys don't really get. Is like, you can conceptually say all of this stuff with all of the wrong words, and you still don't get why it's the right words. But latency is the right word for what is produced by insulation, which is another word for resistance. I can't emphasize anything past that. Sensorality is the best and the latest. Natural definition, direct iteration. New is latest. Natural definition. Is now new. Direct iteration. Sensorality is nothing new. Natural definition, direct iteration, 21 Savage. Que paso, nada nuevo. Again, he just has a song. 21 Savage, not the Spanish part, has a song called Nothing New. Yeah, direct iteration from that. And then what passes? Again, in Spanish, just your typical greeting. What passed? Nothing new. Nada nuevo. What is insulation to stimulation? What is sensation to insulation? Filtration sorts. Right? Filtration sorts English. Fundamental syllables. Censorship blocks. Sensorality sorts blocks. Direct iteration. Sensorality blocks mass. Direct iteration. Mass blocks sensation. Emphasizing a block is mass, but sensorality blocks mass. We're having this, and we're still emphasizing, we present language like linearly, close enough. But the letters contain this chirality, which is this fundamental dichotomy of two. Again, it's always numerically two, but right, numbers don't necessarily apply to like in just geometric shapes that exist. And even geometry is a word to describe existence. You just have a bunch of things moving. And what is moving in relation to what is the whole conceptualization of Einstein saying rest energy. It's just like, nope, momentum localized. Ah, shit. But emphasizing block and mass, that dichotomy, mass blocks sensation, sensorality blocks sensation. Sensorality blocks filtration. Censorship is filtrationship. Censorship is filtrationship. Two different spellings of censor. I didn't just repeat myself. Well, I did, I guess phonetically I did, but linguistically I didn't. Filtrationship, friendship. Just kind of a brute force step. Sensorship. Again, same syllability, same elementality as sensorality. And then filtrations are operative words, so I would just put a ship on there, why not? But again, these kind of haphazard steps, we just have to get the concepts in the right order, and then the complete reduced proof is just natural, it just falls out. And then all of this explanation, or even different theorems or sections of proofing, is just me exhausting all of this bits of conceptualization that I can't speed up and writing down every little bit of detail I can. What is liability to friendship? Appreciation holds. Apprehension holds. So this is a fundamental dichotomy. Forget I said appreciation there, right? Apprehension holds, and in terms of like arresting. Apprehension holds back. So you get that dichotomy. If you apprehend somebody, you're literally arresting them. It's another verbiage, for an arrest, but holding them. Right? And if you're apprehensive, you're holding back. So emphasizing that, hold, block, back. Sensorality blocks black. Direct iteration, slightly racist. But it's a direct iteration. What is a black card to a black list? Sensorality is a chip card. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is appreciation to apprehension? What is suspension to apprehension? Sensorality appreciates apprehension, suspension. Direct iteration. An arrest moratorium. Again, we're just producing a linguistic form to show this direct iteration, and we're gotta be freaking close, man. My rights continue to be violated. My life quality is zero. Truly zero. What is tension to suspension? What is tension to suspicion? Sensorality is smoothness. Natural definition, direct iteration. Smooth is appreciated. Is rude smooth? Smooth is moot. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, emphasizing the base pair. Look at the word smooth. Is movement moot? Is redundancy moot? Is moot obvious? Obviously moot. Moot is obvious. Now we have our connection words for why did I say Bradley? That's my name. But obviously. If it's rendered useless by observation, it's obvious. Obvious is moot. Moot is obvious. And smooth is moot. Is continuity smooth? Sensorality is smooth removal. Natural definition, direct iteration. An identity is a connection. Sensorality detects connection, direct iteration. Sensorality is recruitment. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is recruitment movement? Sensorality is energy. Sensorality is movement potential. Fundamental theorem of physics, sensorality is potential movement. Natural definition, direct iteration, emphasizing the order, obviously. Right? Energy, movement, potential, sensorality, potential, movement. Sensorality is the tendency to move. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, this integration process with everything being irreducible is still incomprehensible to you people. Again, you fucking criminals. And you profoundly worthless researchers. But overall, you're just bad people. We're just going to stay away from those people. But you just have to give me my money so I can just get away from those people. You know, all of those illiterate, arrogant people that think they were going to be the next big scientist. and then you had a profound, empirical, visceral reaction to actual science. It's like, wow, couldn't be more antithetical to what you think you are. But that's what a hypocrite is. Say one thing and do the next. Everyone's just a bunch of sheep running around doing absolutely garbage, horrendous behavior. No one cares. What is tendency to potential? What is fluidity to continuity? Association is assignment. Sensorality understands the assignment. The assignment is to not forget the plot. Direct iteration. Here's the law. What about this one? No, still nothing. Still literally nothing. Literally nobody cares. Any attempt to lie about history will be treated, again, it's the greatest crime in human history. It's the best, greatest crime. You guys are all the greatest. You won. You won the big game. You won the biggest fuck around find out prize in history. And you're still too big of fucking sore losers to accept your wonderful prize. So you continue to lie, cheat, and steal, and just destroy the health and well-being of the species, because you're too pathetic to take responsibilities for your actions. But don't worry, you say please and thank you, you smile and wave, you hold the door open for the next person, and then your pathetic, worthless behavior, you just compete over each other in the context of a career. And you say, oh, we're all out here on our own. We're all living our own lives, right? I'm just looking out for my family. You're too stupid to look out for your family. That's the funny part, is you're literally too fucking stupid to care. But the assignment is to not forget the plot, which has been forgotten a long time ago. What is symbolism to assignment? Design, assign. What is assignment to consignment? A signature is a sign. Natural definition. Is a symbol a sign? Sensorality resigns. Sensorality is resignation. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality ignores resignation. Direct iteration. Evaporation is the opposite of condensation. And what is the physical opposite of censorship? Sensorality vaporizes. Sensorality is vaporality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is definition to decision? Are definitions decided? We put natural definition, natural definition, natural definition. It's just the way these words, it's the conceptual progress that produces these linguistics has to be consistent. And then it's a sufficient differentiation or separation from it is what it is. Censorship is decision. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality decides liability. Direct iteration. Sensorality is the ability to decide. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is decision to division? Censorship separates. Direct iteration. What is movement to rate? Related rates. Sensorality relates rates. Direct iteration. What is inflation to separation? Fundamental theorem of logic, pairing is the opposite of separating. Sensorality is the rate of pairing. Natural definition, direct iteration. pairing of hydrogen, one electron to one proton, a hydrogen atom, in direct physical definition. Are blessings appreciated? Blessings are essential. Natural definition, direct iteration, again, bless, same thing, same irreducible syllability. Sensuality blesses presence, direct iteration. Is grace a blessing? What is pressure to presence? Sensuality is blood presence, right? Obvious iteration of blood pressure, blood presence. Natural definition, direct iteration. We're producing elementality form, and we're going to have a conceptual motivation to iterate, and we're going to have a complete linguistic representation, and it's going to be well defined, and we're done, hopefully, soon. But we continue on, because we're not done. Relevance is appreciated. Sensuality is relevant culture. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is relevance to vibrancy? Is valence a boundary? What is a bond to a boundary? So that is just where I finished up. Again, my rights continue to be violated, obviously. And so wanting to point out, just strictly as a researcher, which I still don't even feel like at all, because again, my natural capacity is so much more just like visceral and empirical than mathematical proofing. And the minute I put my notebook down, nothing has changed. It's just articulating experience with words 100%, and then people are too stupid to get the logical differentiation. But we're at a point where, again, I've done so much derivation, we're at the point where it's, I just need the word form. And this is what science team has had for over a year now, for sure. I mean, for sure, I would expect you guys to iterate the word forms effectively immediately. But to iterate all of the logic and the associated linguistics, that's where you get the proofing. And so point being is this is where a point where it's like Terrence Teo's up on stage saying, it's like, yeah, man, I use lean. Nice. Or not even lean. Again, the mathematical formalization. Then when I first heard that, I was like, what in the world? Mathematics doing lean? Shit. But just, again, referencing material. And as you will see, literally the only thing I reference at all is my own personal spelling. Like I'll literally start typing a word into Google. Science team sees my entire life, everything I do, and it's just like I check my spelling sometimes. And so it's like, and I don't say that as like a flex. I say that it's like that holds me back, like 100%. But then we're at the very literal, I have so much derivation over here in this book, in this email thread, in this email thread. It's not even structured in a way where I can regularly access my own proofing to the point where it causes me direct, immediate distress in a research capacity. I can never be like emotionally stressed. That's why, again, historically, any of these interactions with law enforcement or you guys plastering me as mentally ill is just going to be the most swift legal punishment that could possibly exist. It's scapegoating. It's provably scapegoating. It's the most viscerally disgusting experience that could exist. And I sit here and just, again, someday the law has to make sense whether I'm around or not. That is truly what I want to be around for, is to seeing all of these people that were competitive and you just broke the law and you scapegoated another person. It's the most disgusting level of judgment and like hatred and like, it's the profoundly horrendous behavior. But I'm still waiting for, again, where are all those people at? But regardless to the actual presentation of my research, at this point, it certainly could just get the word form. And then again, the logic is apparent. Because we just need, again, when we're looking at, like, just in this episode, blessings are essential. It's just one direct iteration of a syllable where it's like you connect this word to this word, and then in the conceptualization, you immediately learn it. Like, it's not hard to learn a new vocab word. And we've already done enough linguistics to establish all the fundamental proofing. E and A are inverses. The difference between E and A is I, fundamental stability of 2, maximum iteration limit of 7, sensorality, node. And it's just like, again, and it's profound and extensive T-word. Obviously, nobody cares. And at this point, I don't see any analytical or research value to continue to do this to me at all. Like, I haven't seen that for a long time. But for this specific proof with sensorality, why can I not have a little bit of my money? I can't even access my own proofing in any meaningful sense to a point where, again, I don't even know what I would Google. Like, I can Google my emails, but it's just like profound and extensive T-word in the context of just referencing my own proven work. In addition to, obviously, if anybody had to live one day in the level of just like, hey, I don't have constitutional rights, genuinely. I don't have access to any societal structure, genuinely. And I have nobody in my environment that can understand why that's even a problem. is just the most what the fuck is society or life even anything ever. There's just nothing. And there isn't. Again, this world, this society is play games and compete over nothing. So I continue to beg for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. I've exhausted all of this demonstration of analysis, which isn't entirely true, but the reduction, again, at the highest level of mathematical proofing, I've done it all. I don't really care. I just want my life to stop being miserable every waking minute of every day. And it just is. And it's just like, you guys can just stop doing that. And then to literally just express being T-worded, like I've literally had videos on here get like age restricted because it's like, oh, Brad's sad. And I'm like, no, I'm literally describing crimes being committed against me. And then each time someone's like, oh, what's wrong with Brad? What's wrong with Brad? Even if it's an algorithm tagging saying, what's this guy talking about? It's just like, you're just snuff out my life, right? Because the people that program the algorithms, believe it or not, Skynet hasn't taken over. All of this training on your algorithms, all this agenticality is just human sentiment, again, contained within letters, and then the machine just processing that. You have to train your machines. And so it's just, again, it's just more human sentiment saying, Brad, what's wrong with Brad? What's wrong with Brad? What's wrong with Brad? I'm the victim of crime. That's what's wrong with me. That's not my action, right? That's not Brad, something wrong with Brad. That's I am the victim of a crime, profound crime around people that don't have the maturity to like hear those words. And so they have to instinctually blame me. That is what has occurred my entire life. Again, nothing new. It's just I keep, you referenced that today, but again, and then I am seeking immediate asylum and removal from the United States of America. I am being held against my will. I do not want to interact with anybody. Please just release some amount of my property. You have my bank accounts. And then again, I can't document the crime without like genuine fear of being swatted. And all I'm doing is trying to do science. Mathematical proofing, and I'm the most established scientist ever, and everyone just a little gossip. We won't tell the truth. We'll follow false authority. We'll just be the most hypocritical fucking bitches in history and think that's going to do anything besides have our entire life's family fortune, anything we can do for our family, just seized and our lives thrown in jail. The law has to make sense at some point. There are no law enforcement agents that do the right thing. Not one. They can't. I have never met somebody with the moral capacity to do the right thing. All anybody knows how to do is play games all day, compete over nothing, and be a sore little fucking loser. So again, I can't emphasize enough, my property is never allowed to benefit anybody in the United States of America, ever. I do not want to create jobs. I do not even want to disseminate scientific information myself at this point. I just want my money and left alone. And so never approach me, just give me my money. I have never threatened anybody. I have no weapons. There is nothing wrong with me. I am just the victim of profound and extensive crime being committed by the government in a community that has scapegoated me since childhood. I have no sense of safety. I have no memory, no expectation of safety. I have no conscious memory of ever feeling safe, ever. I cannot eat properly and sleep properly because of it. What do I do? That is what I have for right now. Nobody cares. Please leave me alone. Please just give me my money. I don't have a way to articulate the crimes being committed against me without genuine fear of retribution. Hopefully nothing happens. We'll see. See you on the next one.